Hey, Carl, now that Pulsar Security is going to be sponsoring the podcast directly, you want to hear the ad copy that we came up with?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, get ready for this. In a world full of security challenges.
No. We can't say in a world.
Come on, that sounds perfect.
Like
you think we should?
It's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie
You
cliche.
think we should leave it open for services on Mars? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
you can't.
Okay.
All right, just go ahead and read the rest of it.
Can I say in a world or no?
Go for it. I don't care.
In a world full of security challenges, trust is everything.
Well, that's true.
At Pulsar Security, we are enabling organizations to thrive safely in an ever-changing digital world.
Yeah.
Our experts conduct cutting-edge cybersecurity services, ensuring your business stays one step ahead of threats.
All good.
Experience peace of mind as we deliver robust solutions tailored to your needs. Your security is our priority. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Choose Pulsar Security for a safer tomorrow. Visit us at pulsarsecurity.com. Empower your digital journey with confidence. Security starts here.
Okay. I like everything but
Okay.
in a world.
It worked for Batman.
I do like to
This
dress
is
dark and in
serious.
hoodies.
Now, this is serious stuff here, man. You're talking about keeping companies
We
safe.
do. Yeah, we are talking about that.
Like
don't wanna-
cyber superheroes. Come on, Carl.
Conjure up images of the predator, you know?
Well, we should have done this from the start. So now we are officially sponsoring Security This Week by Pulsar Security.
Well, good luck with your ad.
Thanks.
Hey, guys, you shop on Alibaba?
Never.
No.
I bought a purse for my daughter there. It was made in Iraq.
Huh.
She said, thanks for the bag, Dad.
Oh, my. That might be worse than last week's.
Nothing could be worse than last week's. Hey, guys, what's new up there in Boston, the Boston area?
We're supposed to get a storm.
Oh, my God. It's windy, too.
When?
It's been like hurricane winds.
We sound like old men.
I know, right?
My left toe's touching.
My knee's been acting
And
up.
that sun is bothering me.
Yeah.
The evil day star.
The witch sun.
So what about this storm? I haven't heard that we're getting a storm.
I think it's worse if you're in the northern part of the state when we're both in the southern part of the state.
Well,
I think it's supposed to be Tuesday.
doesn't surprise me. This is Storm Central.
I think tomorrow.
Damn Central. No,
I think
is it tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's tonight.
Tomorrow's supposed to be like in the 50s over here.
Where you are, in the south.
We're not that far apart.
In the
You
south.
might as well be in Florida.
In the
Yeah, we're
south.
having some fried
You're
chicken
the
tonight.
Florida
son.
of New England.
Wow.
Oh, no, that's Rhode Island. Sorry.
All right, let's get to what we're here for anyway.
Roasting
first-
you.
Yeah. First story from Bleeping Computer. Hackers exploit WordPress plugin flaw. Gee, we never saw that
shock.
happen. We never
You know
saw
what's
that
funny?
coming. To infect 3,300 sites.
What's funny, Dwayne?
What's funny about this one is if you had paid attention to our show in November of last year, you probably would have heard us talk about this same exact exploit.
But now it's on a rampage.
So that's actually like the life expectancy of these things. They come up as theoreticals.
Yep.
Somebody exposed and says, somebody could do this. And then it gets patched.
Somebody does it.
And then eventually it matriculates, like that word, matriculates to the hackers.
Oh, very nice. SAT word.
All right, college boy.
Now, sometimes that happens faster. And we're going to talk about that Avanti thing later on. That happened faster. But eventually it happens. Eventually all these hacks, there's a tool called Metasploit that basically automates these attacks
Oh, yeah.
for testing purposes only, of course.
Of course.
Can you schedule them? Like, do you say on
could do
Thursday
just
at
about
9
anything.
a.m. I want to have a meta splurge attack? What did you call it?
I know, right?
I've never scheduled Metasploit, but I'm sure you could. You could certainly,
Oh, yeah, you can.
tie it together.
You can run a bash script that will actually execute
Well,
any one of the Metasploit modules. So
that's if you're smart enough to run a bash script.
then all you need to do is cron it, and boom, you're done.
There you
right.
go.
How hard is that?
Cron. My mother's listening going, what? What is that?
Isn't he the bad guy in the new Marvel series?
Yeah, it's definitely cron. He is trying to control time. No,
Or-
he's not.
Or is he Arnold Schwarzenegger's God?
No. You know what he is? He's the sequel to Tron.
Cron.
Tron.
Uh,
Tron 2. All right.
So-
So,
Patch your stuff.
God, I hate this. Where every time we do a show, WordPress plugins are in it.
Well, 3,300 websites is a lot,
it's down from what it was before.
but it's not nearly as much as it could be. It could be 3 million websites.
Right.
I think in
So-
November it was like 800,000, and now it's down to 3,300. So some of you have done a great job patching, and the other 3,300 deserve what you get.
Oh,
Should we give out awards for
No.
patching your sites or
Oh my gosh, yeah.
or,
Or not.
booby
we'd
prizes
never
for
give
not?
them away. We'd never be able to give any away. No, that's not true. That's not fair. Some people
it
do actually take security seriously. I'm sure you'd never catch CISA, foreshadowing.
Ooh, for not patching.
Shots
Mm.
fired.
Shots fired. All right.
Right.
So if you got WordPress, what are you thinking?
Stop using it.
If you got
Yeah, I know, right?
Don't use plugins.
No, we say this before. WordPress can be secure. The
Oh, yeah.
plugins are almost always, not always, but almost always the flaw. And if
Yeah.
you keep things patched and you pay attention and you listen to Security This Week,
Mhm.
do what we say,
Yeah.
you can run WordPress and not get slammed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way this exploit works, we talked about it before, but the way this exploit works is attackers on the internet can inject malicious code into the admin interface, which then goes into the backend tables and can redirect all users to a malicious site. So
How bad
people
could
will
that
go to
be?
your website, and they'll get redirected maybe to a malicious website that looks exactly like yours. So that when they log in, now their usernames and passwords are compromised.
And if you're just a user going to a WordPress site, just turn off your internet. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Problem
There you go.
solved.
Friends, don't let friends use WordPress.
Oh my God. Like 70% of the internet's WordPress. Maybe
I know.
80.
I know.
Maybe
Yeah.
80. Sadly.
Okay. So it's actually kind of good news because the number's going down. All right. Good enough. So we talked about.
I love how that's good news.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good news.
Where's
Hey,
our
only
spin?
3,000 people have been exploited. Good for
Only
you.
half the passengers in the plane died.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Good news is half of them made it.
Could have been a lot worse.
I could have been on that plane.
Okay. So Fortinet is back in the news.
Yeah.
Is this the same Fortinet bug that we just talked about a week or two ago?
I don't think so. I think this is actually a new bug.
Okay.
They're rolling with it.
No, this one's SQL injection. I thought it was SQL injection last week. And maybe they're going back and finding more. We didn't compare the CVEs. We probably should have.
Oh, wait, let me do that. I'm going to do that while you guys hum Jeopardy or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Tap dance.
Looty, loo. So Patrick, while he's doing that, tell us what Fortinet is again.
Fortinet, it originally is a firewall company, but they're in endpoint management as well. They were really good offering when a few years ago they were the top of the market. Now they've had a lot of news that is not so flattering. A lot of vulnerabilities. They've expanded into a lot of places. There is a factor here of the bigger you go with security and endpoint stuff, the more surface area you're actually adding
Right.
to your network. A smaller surface area would probably be better.
Well, an endpoint management system should, in fact, make you more secure because you can do things like throttling and redirecting and to add additional security levels.
It should, but we're going through this phase where we're just seeing a lot of bugs in these things. A lot of vulnerability inducing bugs.
So the product in question is FortiClient Enterprise Management Server, EMS.
Yeah.
So this is software, and the patch allows attackers to gain remote code execution on vulnerable servers.
And this one's brandy new, kids.
It is, even though it's
this
SQL
is-
injection. So they
This
need
is not the one we talked about last
they need a
week.
course in
Same.
SQL injection mitigation.
Yeah.
Let me dust off my materials from 2006.
And if you want some training on that, you should talk to Patrick and Dwayne,
I know,
I know, right?
yeah.
because that's what they do.
We're working on it.
Fortinet.
It's a SQL injection in a DB2 administration server component. It was discovered by the UK National Cybersecurity Centre and Fortinet developer Thiago Santana.
Ooh, I love Santa.
Thiago? I don't know if I pronounced
Carlos's
that right, but
brother.
That's right. His nerdy
went-
brother.
His
he
nerdy
went
brother.
nerdy brother. He went into Fortinet
The
programming.
black sheep of the family.
When he enters the room, guitar music still plays automatically. But so Fortinet has not yet revealed if there's any evidence it's being exploited for attacks before patching. So the good news is that companies that use Fortinet and these products probably have a security team and probably are ahead on this patching. I'm sure in a few months we'll come out with a list of 3,000 Fortinet customers who have not patched.
Right.
People should be seeing a trend here. If you patch and you pay attention to this stuff, you're in much better shape.
Although,
definitely.
I will tell you the one thing, you know how it used to be as network administrators, we were all like, you don't patch because you wait to see which sucker patches and crashes your servers. And we say, hey, that hasn't happened recently. Yeah, that actually just happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
Microsoft just released a patch, I think it was last week, that caused a good chunk of domain controllers to blue screen. And Microsoft came back this week and went, my bad. That was us. That's on us.
You know what else happened after Patch Tuesday? Like this microphone that I'm using got turned off. Like the record volume.
Did you buy that at Alibaba too?
Got taken all the way down after the patch was applied after Patch Tuesday.
That's weird.
It is weird. So Patch Fortinet. Okay. This next one might have been the clickbait because it's really just it wins the irony award.
It does.
Right? Because there's two monikers of irony here. One is the title itself, CISA, CISA. We talk about them a lot. Hit by hackers. Key systems taken offline. Now, Patrick, who is CISA?
They are the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency.
There's a lot of security in that.
They're the ones that rate all of these hacks.
They got security in the name twice.
Yeah.
Isn't it double negative? Doesn't that make it a double negative?
They're the ones that tell us to patch and do all this stuff. And
so that said, let's back up a little bit. Back the bus up.
Boop, boop.
So they detected it fast, early, and on time. They addressed it by taking a system offline. They reported it pretty fast. I mean, if it was a bank, we'd probably be hearing about it in 18 months. We're hearing about it in less than a month, weeks. And they're human. There's humans involved. So I've always, not always, but for the last 10 years, I've been saying we have to assume breach. You have to assume they're inside the wire, that they're gonna get in, and how do we mitigate the damage? And that's the whole idea behind the zero trust.
Right.
We also see that they're using, it's the Avanti system, Avanti Connect Secure. Okay. Sometimes this high tech protection systems are the ones with the most vulnerabilities. Fortinet, Avanti. Our company, we subscribe to a minimum surface area. We do not have a big surface area. We limit the surface area. And so that way there's less to hit. So rather than have a building made of windows and putting a sensor on every window, we just don't have windows.
Right.
Or a building.
That's right.
Whoa. I'm getting a Sean Spencer psychic moment here. And I am looking at their website and I'm determining that they just, and by just, I mean like within the last 2 days, had a CSS expert come in and sex up their website. You know how I know?
How's that?
There's two things. First of all, they have a light dark button.
Ooh.
And you can go to dark mode. That's a sure sign of a cocksure CSS guy. And the other sign is that the title is cut off.
I did notice that.
From the top of the page.
Well, this is the security intelligence site, not the CISA site you're talking about.
Yeah.
Security. Yeah, but this is security intelligence. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right.
The reporting company, not CISA.
I don't know what happened to that title.
Right. So security intelligence does not include CSS intelligence, apparently.
Oh, no. But you notice when you scroll, you see the progress bar at the top.
Oh, yeah.
That's some sassy CSS
some serious,
right there.
Yeah, serious CSS. Too bad we can't read the headline.
Yeah, you can only guess what that says.
Yeah, okay.
But winning with dark mode.
And again, that is not CISA. We're talking now about
You're
the source of the
right.
article, securityintelligence.com. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
But you just have to go there for a laugh.
So CISA is an important organization.
Yes.
They do an important function. I have a lot of respect for them.
Heck yeah.
But it can happen to anybody. I dare anyone to say we are immune to vulnerabilities and we'll never get hacked. That is a sure sign. You know how they said the Titanic would never sink?
Or that, hey, I can use CSS to sex up your website.
We don't claim that hackers can't attack us or that they can't even get in certain systems. We just will catch and retaliate. I mean, protect ourselves.
And report to the proper authorities.
The proper authorities in the jurisdiction with the least regulations.
I am the proper authority to report it to.
I hope you know that this will go down on your permanent record.
Always watching.
One of my favorite tactics is you make something just vulnerable enough for somebody to get into,
Right.
and then you infect them with what they find. That's actually
honeypot strategy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
Yep.
I've had some honeypot strategies for a long time, and
Okay, so that story was just one of irony. There's nothing you can do about it. They fixed it. Everything's fine. But, we just have to laugh.
right. It's the reason it's a big story is because it's CISA.
Right. Okay, so this next story is for all the developers listening that use GitHub. GitHub's new AI-powered tool, and we don't know his or her name, auto fixes vulnerabilities in your code.
So this is great. And, it's known as the code scanning autofix. It's powered by GitHub Copilot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it'll deal with over 90% of, JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, and
cool.
Python type alerts. It is very cool. It is very good. I want to warn people about this, though. It doesn't take the place of having your developers know how to write secure code. Because when it brings up, it's great. I like the interface. I think it's a good interface. When it brings up a suggestion, you have to accept it. And you have to say, okay or no, or you can even edit it. And if you don't know what it's doing or why, it's going to cause confusion, and you're going to get developers that'll either reject it for the wrong reason, or they'll accept it not knowing unintended consequences.
So if you're dumb, you're still going to get blamed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should, as it should be. The other thing is it only catches 90%. So there's still some it won't catch. And there's lots of logic errors that we've seen in our travels that would never get caught by this kind of tool.
Oh, yeah.
If you had general AI, if it had something that was competent that could actually write the whole site, which we're starting to see, maybe, but logic errors are without revealing anything, Dwayne, from the deep dark past, not the recent past. Any examples of like the logic errors that we?
Wait, is this when you guys went to DC to crash a train?
Let's not talk about that.
We can't talk about that.
So, but like somebody giving someone access to something, someone giving someone access to something that makes perfect sense, but also gives them access to something else.
Right.
Those are the kinds of things this isn't going to catch. It's not going to catch the fact that log4j, took these parameters. It wouldn't have caught that ahead of time. It's not going to catch, when you've got a library bug.
But ideally, it would have caught if log4j was in GitHub, it would have caught that and said, hey, the log4j library itself is vulnerable in these particular ways. You need to go fix it. And then everybody using it, yeah, absolutely. They would have been protected.
Okay. So here's a great example of, we've been telling people, you got to be careful about using these third-party libraries. You don't know what's in them. You should review the code. And we realize that's really kind of unreasonable advice, but it's the right advice.
Yeah.
These co-pilots, these code review things give you a chance to actually have something check it.
Right.
And it'll check it in a few seconds. So we're getting to a point very soon where AI is going to make it so there's no excuse with grabbing a component, stuffing it in, and then finding out later it's got a stupid error or some bad malicious piece of code, because these things will find it. It's just laziness at that point.
Yeah. In this corner, artificial intelligence. And in this corner, natural stupidity. All right, which one's going to win?
Stupidity. Every time. Every time. You can't predict it. It's like wild.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Devin, the AI developer?
Oh,
No.
I have heard of it.
Yeah, so Devin right now is in beta, but you literally go to this site and you can say, I would like a website that does this and takes this, and it just develops the whole thing for you.
I'd like a website, hold the onions,
But
please.
what's really crazy is it
coming.
actually goes through the entire normal development pipeline.
Yeah.
So it will write code, and when it has a question, it will search GitHub and find or search.
It has a meeting with
stack.
itself.
Yeah, exactly. And then it figures out what the the issue is, and then it writes in the code and it puts comments saying, hey, I had to look this up here because
So have you used it? Does it work?
No.
I haven't gotten access to it yet. I put my name on the list. I'm intrigued. I want to find ways to get Devin to do dirty things.
Until I saw the Devin kind of thing, I was a little bit like not sure about whether developers are in trouble from AI, but I'm starting to think developers are in trouble from AI. If I can go to a mic and say, okay, I'd like a CRUD application with this data, and this is the relationship between these three entities, and that's dangerous. That's now you're going to need another AI to check for security flaws.
Or a human.
But that's not too far of a reach. Or a human, yeah. Why change the model?
Right.
All right, guys, let's take a little break. We'll be back after these very important messages. And we're back. You're listening to Security This Week. I'm Carl Franklin, the question guy, and that's Dwayne, the awesome guy, and Patrick, the tomahawk guy.
The tomahawk guy.
Wow.
Trying to make sense of the week in security breaches. So, do you guys remember McDonald's? What was it? A couple weeks ago, there was
Remember it? I just ate there.
there was a global outage, and we
Yes.
reported on it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Well, now McDonald's, according to Bleeping Computer, is saying that their global outage was caused by "quote unquote" configuration change.
Well, I love how it's like
So vague.
notably. This issue was not directly caused by a cybersecurity event, rather by a third party during a configuration change. What is not directly caused
Well, they're
by?
trying to still have the shield of, well, it's not our fault. Someone else did it to us. While they're saying it was our fault and we did it to ourselves.
Yeah, it's a nice way of saying we screwed up the configuration and that made us vulnerable and somebody hacked us.
Well, their third party did. What doesn't matter. It doesn't change. What your third party does is what you get blamed for.
Yep.
Right.
So this is interesting because I guarantee if you talk to 10 people, they would say, "Oh yeah, they're hacking us. They're even hacking McDonald's." You know, the same was true when AT&T had their configuration change. So it's becoming just the default response that if something doesn't work, it's the thanks Obama of tech of IT now.
Yeah.
Thanks cyber criminals.
Right.
You know, my game's not loading. It must be cyber attacks.
Right.
And sometimes they're going to be right, but we're seeing a lot of these big incidents where they're just wrong.
Well, we know the printers at McDonald's still work because there's a picture of the sign on the door.
Right.
We cannot take any orders. Our systems are down. This is a national issue at the moment. Sorry for the inconvenience. Oops.
Either that or that person has really nice handwriting.
This also highlights the fact. This also highlight. It must be over 60 then. This also highlights the fact that I forgot what I was going to say.
Didn't you just say you're over 60? Is that wait?
Too many Big Macs.
I'm not over 60 yet.
You're getting amyloid plaques in your brain from all those Big Macs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me floss. That's not going to work in a radio show. All right.
Radio? How old are you?
Shall we move on?
Yes, please.
All right. The International Monetary Fund email accounts have been hijacked in a cyber attack.
So this is an attack where 11 IMF staffers were hacked. It wasn't leadership, and they got access, and it's widely believed that it's done by the Chinese. So the International Monetary Fund is kind of competitive with China's Belt and Road Initiative in funding third world projects, dams, and things like that. And there's actually a bit of a kerfuffle right now because a lot of the countries that have borrowed money from China are in default, and they're looking to the IMF to bail them out, but China's not willing to participate in the bailout, even though they're the ones that caused it by lending money to people who can't pay it back. And so it's very likely they wanted to get involved to influence some of those decisions or find out what people were thinking and what they might do. So it makes perfect sense that it was the Chinese that targeted them. They did detect it, and they're conducting an investigation. And I'm now at a point where just detecting and disclosing is the bar now. If you just can detect these things and disclose them, it means you're ahead of the curve because most organizations wouldn't know that 11 of their emails had been compromised.
Wow.
And this is the IMF. Isn't that where Ethan Hunt works? I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
Right?
it is. Although I think in his world, it's not the International Monetary Fund, but maybe it is.
I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about.
Come on, Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise's character.
The organization they work for is the
IMF.
the Impossible Mission Force. IMF.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Oh, is it called that? I thought.
Yeah, no, it is the IMF. It's the Impossible
I was going to
Mission
say,
Force.
Ben Bernanke did not strike me as someone who sends in assassins and hackers, but you never know.
Maybe.
Okay, if you're still using a Windows domain controller, you might be interested in the fact that hackers have exploited DHCP on these things to escalate privileges.
Yeah.
I mean, what Dwayne? I can tell you what Dwayne's thinking. Dwayne's thinking is, I don't need no DHCP to hack a Windows domain.
No, I mean that's noob sauce right there.
Now-
DHCP.
Now that said,
Come on, children.
That said, let's not. The Windows domain, you have to be on the network.
Yeah,
to do
right.
your magic, right?
Right. You do, in this particular case, magic does not happen past
Yeah, but
firewalls.
for
Correct.
most of your hacking of when we get into an environment with a customer, 90% of the time we're not getting domain admin unless we're on the network.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, you're not.
Even with no
Typically, most customers are very good about isolating their external perimeter from their internal, right?
And let me put on my very sarcastic voice, and that is and people almost never fall for phishing attempts that would get us that access,
right. No.
and give us entree onto the local network. So that's not really a threat.
Let's look back to CISA, where no, never mind. Anyways,
Refer back to that last.
so no, and this listen, this makes sense. DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. This is you turn on your computer, and your computer needs to get an address on the network, right?
Mm-hmm.
So DHCP is what gives it address. It's really weird because you say your computer can't talk on the network unless it has an address. Well, then how does it get an address? And
Back in the old days, do you remember the black book?
oh yeah,
We had a black book on the network, and it had the list of all the hosts and their IP addresses.
oh yeah.
And someone would go to the computer and type in the IP address
Yep.
in the configuration, tell it what its DNS servers were, all that stuff. And if you got it wrong, good luck diagnosing it. It was always a federal case.
Oh my gosh. Pre-DHCP. That was a long time ago.
Host
But anyway,
files.
So
Yes.
it was, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Host files. Oh my God. How old are we? So DHCP was awesome, right? Your computer has a MAC address, a hardware address. It can use that to communicate with the DHCP server and then get an actual address for the network. And at that point, it can communicate and everybody knows where to find it. So it makes sense that it is a privileged thing, right? It's a database of all the computers and name resolution for computers on the network, right? So it is running in an elevated way. I don't know how many people run it on the domain controller anymore. Maybe smaller organizations might. Lots of organizations have these as dedicated devices, like firewalls that just have DHCP in them, and feed out DHCP addresses. But if you are running it, yeah, it's risky.
Okay. So before we hit the big story here, Microsoft announced on March 20th these .NET Smart Components, and this is for the developers in the crowd, AI-powered UI controls. So they're experimental still, but if you click on the video, Steve Sanderson does a little demo. They are UI controls. So you got a text box, you got a text area, which is where for you typing long paragraphs, and you also have a combo box. And essentially what you can do is, if you're filling out a form, let's say, and it's got all these fields with all this stuff on it, but you have all these things in an email, right? Maybe you've got an email with all your first name, last name, address, credit card number, blah, blah, blah. You can just copy that into the clipboard and paste it onto the form. And these controls will figure out where stuff goes and automatically fill the form out for you with that data.
That sounds very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. The text area control has hints, like you can use the semantic hints, like you give it some examples of the things that the person is going to be adding, and then it will do statement completion, basically. And in a combo box situation, you simply paste something, and if that item is in the combo box, it'll be selected automatically.
Can I upload like a picture of my license or my health insurance card, and it'll just pull the data?
Well, that's crazy talk. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, because that's never in the.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. Yeah, so you do have to have an OpenAI license, of course. So because
Interesting.
you're going to be making API calls into ChatGPT API.
I look forward to reporting on this in future episodes.
Yes, I'm sure you will.
I mean, it's great technology. I'm not against technology. It's just that with great technology comes great abuses of that technology.
Yeah.
This sounds like it would be super convenient, which is great if it's done well and it's not. There are advances in convenience that don't lead to security flaws. I just haven't found them yet.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on that one.
Good con.
Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us to the clickbait story. New acoustic attack determines keystrokes from typing patterns.
I love the side channels, honestly.
Yeah.
I know. They're so scary.
They're so nice.
Researchers have demonstrated a new acoustic side channel attack on keyboards that can deduce user input based on their typing patterns, even in poor conditions such as environments with noise. So they're listening to your keyboard type.
Yeah.
And then figuring out what you're typing from that.
So what's interesting is
it's pattern matching.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, though, right? Where like, oh, you could have your iPhone sitting on the desk and it's listening and whatever. And in every experiment before this, they've done hyper-controlled environments. It's like a sound room with professional mics listening to a specific keyboard and saying, oh my God, yeah, we can tell with 80% accuracy. I mean, if you take a look at the approaches they have here, like a cognitive model, or the deep learning has a massive data set, a super control. Like, does it require a specific keyboard? Yes. Does it require a specific pattern limitation? Yes. Does it require a trained model? Yes. So it's like they've made it so you have to have a specific keyboard in a specific room.
It's a nation state level effort.
Yeah, and you have to have a dude hanging over you holding a microphone. Like, it's almost impossible for them to work. Even in the labs, they're only like 80%. I don't know what the hidden Markov model is. Maybe there's a dude who hides named Markov and he stares at your keyboard. But what's interesting about this one, and why we're talking about it, is because this method, although it's 43% accurate, which sounds obviously less than 84 and 87, which we've talked about for years. This is 43% accurate, but it does not require a large data set, does not require a specific keyboard, does not require complex training models, does not require limitations on the typing patterns or the environmental noise. So they've come up with a new way of analyzing the acoustics of you typing on your keyboard where they can get it.
So imagine it's mostly like timing, right? And the difference between holding down a modifier key and typing a key.
Yep.
Right. And basically pattern matching based on timing. So I can see it now. Wanted programmer in office only, must be able to type 1 word per minute. Right? So somebody who hunts and pecks is going to elude this.
Oh,
I
yes.
think.
If I look at this, it's probably a machine learning. If you took 1 million recordings of people typing
of a million monkeys,
known sentences, known words, known sentences, known words, things like that, you could then feed that into a model.
Oh, sure.
And train the model. And 43%, even with horrible data, that's possible. So I think this is a machine learning. The fact that it has none of these requirements means that if I have the training model and I have the model trained, I can use a laser microphone against a window and just record and see, if I can get snapshots of what you're typing. And I might get the name of a competitor. I might get the name of a potential client. I might be able to, I might grab a password occasionally.
Right.
And then I could use that as for password stuffing attacks, especially if I detect something like Shift T, lowercase r, uppercase U, and I see something where it's upper and lowercase. That might be a password. That might be something I can listen for 8 hours and pick. All I have to do is pick up one password. It doesn't matter how long I listen to. So I could see this kind of attack becoming not only more ubiquitous, but better as time goes on.
That's nuts.
So it is interesting, though, that they say the people who may be really hard for this method to work, for example, people who rarely use a computer, haven't developed a consistent typing pattern.
Yeah.
Or professional typists who are so fast that they can't pick up the acoustic differences between the keys. Or if you use a silent keyboard.
You know what this reminds me of? How to get away from a sandworm.
What? It does. You have to do like the shuffle walk dance. Yeah.
Or you're gonna run like hell.
Or run like
the silent
makes perfect
keyboard.
sense.
That's a great idea. Yeah, except you can't tell what you're typing.
Well,
they can't tell, and you can't tell either. Yeah. All right. Well, this was a fun one, guys.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do this weekend?
I got Code Camp in Boston.
Oh, nice. I got Robot Wars.
Sweet.
I'm speaking on quantum encryption.
Ooh.
Wow.
So a light topic.
A very light talk, yes. Will be an overview. I'm trying. Although for those listeners, I'm going to hope to try to incorporate some of my new slides on lattice encryption.
Ooh,
the new hotness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a BLT with lettuce encryption.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Where the mutton is real lean.
The mutton's really lean. Enjoy storming the castle.
Speaking of storms, I got to figure out what's coming here.
Yeah. Good luck.
You in New England's Florida. I'll say rain.
I hope we'll live to see you next week.
Don't bet on it. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye, guys.